Most languages aren't designed to just confuse you. The joy I have learning computer languages is that you figure out the inherent logic behind it and you appreciate the brilliance of it. After all, computer programming languages were invented by humans, so you get to understand the intelligence and the beauty of how humans think. Python, out of all the languages I've explored, seemingly the easiest to grasp. There's just a lot of things simplified in it. In my journey to just explore this language, so far, I've only encountered one instance of something that just didn't make sense to my logic. So let's explore. So let's say I do list, and I'm just creating a list. Okay, let's just create a random list of numbers, and then I'll show you what I create. So I'm going to print list. So I just printed a list. I created a list. You can create different types of lists. For example, girls Jerry crushes on, girl that passes by every day. So then we can print this. So now let's say we forgot something and we wanted to insert. So let's say we forgot a 3, we forgot a 4. List dot inserts. To insert, you have to talk about which index it's at. So the way it works in most computer programming languages, it starts at 0. So this is the 0 index, this is the first index. So we have to insert at the second index, 0, 1, 2. And then we're going to insert a 3. We're going to print list again. So look what we did. We put a 3 there. Let's say we wanted to insert another. We wanted to insert a 4. We got 0, 1, 2. So now we have to insert at the third. So 3. And then we have to insert a 4. So indexed and then what we're inserting. So now we'll print the list again. So see, so now we fulfilled the list. Now there's another way to insert by using negative numbers. Let's say in this list, I forgot someone. I can go from this direction because let's say I wanted to insert at the end. So what I'll do is, Jerry crushes on dot insert. And now instead of inserting at the beginning, I tell it to go at the very end, and then I'll put this. Look at that. It inserted this name right here. So a question you might ask is, why does it start from -1? If you remember how numbers work, -0 is 0. So now you understand why you can't start with -0 because it's technically 0. So if you want to work from the back to the front of the list, you have to start with -1. Remember, starts at index 0, 1, 2. So let's say I wanted to insert here. List dot insert. We're going to insert at index 2. We're going to insert a 3. And we've already established we're going to print it again. Watch what happens. All right, so we go to 0, 1, 2, we insert a 3 there. So now let's say we want to work backwards. We want to insert a 4. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2. So there we go. We went to index 1, 2 right here, and we inserted a 4. So maybe this makes sense to some of you. Let's do one more insert to show you my confusion. So let's say I wanted to insert a 3.5 from the back. 1, 2, 3. Or is it 4? You see how I was interpreting it? If you're inserting from the back, shouldn't you also push things the way you are inserting? If I'm inserting here, I'm pushing it this way. But if I'm inserting here, I'm pushing it this way. But the way Python has it when it comes to inserting into a list, no matter if I'm inserting from the front or from the back end, it's always pushing it this way. So it's always pushing it to the right. So that was my confusion. I was born left-handed and I was raised right-handed, so I can make a switch and kind of think in a mirrored way. But the way Python, at least this iteration of Python is, with how to insert things, everything always gets pushed to the right, aka everything always gets pushed further down in the positive direction of the index. It's always going to push things this way than 1, 2, 3, right? Because we're always pushing it to the right, or always pushing it to the higher index. -3, 1, 2, 3. And then we will insert, and voila. It works this way. Now that the logic is understood that no matter which way you go, it's always pushing things this way instead of if you go this way, it's pushing things this way. So once you get it, it's actually quite easy. But for a second there, because of the way my mind works, I can work left and right. I thought whichever way you're inserting, you're pushing it the way you're starting from the insert. As I showed you guys my challenges, it made sense to me even more now. Now I'm like, okay, it's never going to confuse me again. Sometimes just by explaining things, especially problems that you solved or overcame, it further cements your understanding of it. I will do more of these because, as we know, whenever you learn a new language, you're going to run into challenges. There's gaps in your logic that will be filled quickly, especially if you understand it and then explain it to people. So I hope you guys enjoyed this exploration. We'll have much more to come.